Hi, it's Jason here. Welcome to lesson 13, the last lesson of this Learning Ashtanga Yoga course, which has gone over maybe up to 3 months. That's one lesson every week. So we're here at the end, and in a few moments we're going to come up to standing and move through the whole of this traditional Ashtanga Yoga primary series. And I'm going to be talking you through all of the options and a little bit further to go possibly as a final completion. Remembering this is just the beginning essentially. Now you've got an overview of this series of traditional yoga postures. It's about just continuing to move through this practice as often as you can on a day-to-day basis. And I'll give you more information, and there's more information on the website if you want to even take this further. There's various series of the Ashtanga-based yoga system. But to begin with, just a few moments just to get centered. We haven't started sitting for a while, just to prepare ourselves for this challenging last lesson. Easy cross-legged, sitting on a block. Over time, it might be possible to sit straight away in half lotus or full lotus. Don't force anything. Hands on knees. Relaxing to look down. Steady breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Sets up this ujjayi breath. Some support from the abdomen, this almost subtle drawing in and lifting to breathe full deep breaths into the lungs as we inhale. Exhale. You can feel the air entering the body through the nostrils, rolling down the back of the throat, filling the lungs. And you can feel and begin to hear the air as it swirls back out. Sound of breathing. The most important thing we're doing as we move through this yoga practice is continuing to maintain the quality and steadiness of these full deep breaths. So a few more moments here. You're preparing here for the challenging practice that is about to follow. And you can think of all of these postures as mini meditations. So the idea is, as much as we can in all of the postures from our first down facing dog right through this series, can you match the stillness of the posture with this steady awareness to this full deep breathing? And then lifting the gaze. We'll kind of come up to standing. And today, in this last lesson, we're going to do the Ashtanga chant. So, hands in prayer position, palms gently facing towards each other, gazing straight ahead. And you're going to repeat this after me. And over time, you'll get used to the whole thing. Om Vande Gurunam Charanadavinde Vande Gurunam Charanadavinde Sandarashita Swatma Sukhava Bodhe Sandarashita Swatma Sukhava Bodhe Nishrayase Jangali Kayamane Nishrayase Jangali Kayamane Samsala Hala Hala Moha Shanti Samsala Hala Hala Moha Shanti Abahu Purushakaram Abahu Purushakaram Shankachakrazi Darnyam Shankachakrazi Darnyam Sahasra Shirsam Shvetam Sahasra Shirsam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Pranamami Patanjalim. Om. Exhaling, hands by sides, ready to begin. Enjoy your practice. So we're ready to begin, standing at the front of the mat, feet together, hands by sides. Awareness to the abdomen, and the most important thing is to keep breathing steady, even breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. So for this full primary series, I'm going to be demonstrating all of the postures, mostly to their full completion. But there's no pressure for you to do this. You might just want to watch some of these, or remember from the last 12 weeks you've been building up. So I'll keep reminding you of all the various alternatives. There'll be just a few new postures towards the end of this practice, just to bridge the gap so we get the full flow. So I'll let you know when we get there, and you can again either just watch or I'll give you a few alternatives. So, well done for getting this far. Enjoy your practice. First, a sun salutation. Inhale, arms up, gently look up. Exhale, folding down, nice and steady, let the head hang. Inhale, keep the hands down, but lift the gaze, look up. Exhale, just step back on these first few if you like, and lower down. Inhale on the tops of the feet, cobra, eventually upward facing dog. Exhale, pressing back to the first downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. Keep the hips lifting, is 1. Keep the fingers spread into the mat behind the head, is 2. Try and feel that awareness to your abdomen. Inhale through the nose, exhale out through the nose. That's already 3 breaths. Keep the legs active, so the muscles working above kneecaps. That's 4. And if it's too intense to have the legs straight, just keep the knees slightly bent. Keep breathing though. And that's 5 breaths. Inhale, head up. You might want to just step through on these first few. Lift the gaze. Exhale, folding down, let the head hang. Inhale, full breath, arms up, look up to the thumbs. Exhale, hands to sides. Steady on this second one. Inhale, arms up, gently looking up. Exhale, folding down. Eventually hands on the mat, but don't worry if you're putting the hands on the legs, that's no problem. Stay low though as you inhale, look up, straight back. Exhale, again you might want to just step back on these first few, elbows in as you lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog, press back into the toes, lift the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Space around the shoulders, let the head hang as you look back between the feet is 1 breath. Try and maintain this steady quality of breathing as best you can is 2. Keep the hips lifting. Fingers spread into the mat behind head is already 3 breaths. At any point, remember you need to come down onto your knees and have a breather. That's completely fine. That's 4 breaths. One more steady breath here. Makes that 5. Ready to bend the knees. Inhale, come back through, feet close, look up. Exhale, folding down. No problem to soften the knees if you need to. Inhale, last movement, float the arms up, look up, palms eventually press together. Exhale, hands by sides, palms facing in. Third one, inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, folding down, let the head hang. Inhale, lift the gaze, straight back. Exhale, bend the knees and eventually jumping back, elbows in and press the mat away from you before inhaling on the tops of the feet, upward facing dog. And from there, lift the hips, push back to downward facing dog. Feet are parallel, about hip distance apart. That's 1 breath. You can't see your hands, but you can feel the fingers spread nice and wide into the mat behind your head is 2. Keep the legs active, so the muscles working above kneecaps and thighs. 3. Remember, the legs don't have to be straight. That could be something to work towards, so it's important not to force anything here or on any of the postures we do. That's already 4 breaths as the heels drift down towards the mat behind you. One more full deep breath is 5. Bend the knees and eventually inhale, jumping the feet through. No problem to step through, look up. Exhale, folding down, let the head hang. Inhale, press through the feet, float the arms up, space around the shoulders, look up to your thumbs if you can. Nice and easy on the neck, hands to sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, falling down, forward bend. Inhale, lift the chest, let the gaze follow. Exhale, bend the knees, jump or step back, elbows in, lowering down. Inhale, upward facing dog, lift the chest. Exhale, pressing back, down facing dog. Remember the option if you need to pause, come down onto your knees, that's okay. That's 1 breath. Smooth breath in through the nose, try and keep the face nice and relaxed. Exhale through the nose is 2. Try and imagine your chest is gently moving back towards your toes. 3. Keep that space around the shoulders. That energy spiraling down the arms and out through the fingertips is already 4 breaths. One more nice breath in through the nose and out through the nose. 5. Inhale, jumping or stepping through, lift the gaze. Exhale, folding down, let the head hang. Last movement, same as the first movement. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hands to sides. And there's 9 movements to these A sun salutations. Ekam 1, inhale, arms up. Dway 2, exhale, folding down. Trini 3, inhale, head up, lift the gaze. Chatwari, exhale, jump or step the feet back, elbows in, and press to lower down. Pancha 5, inhale, upward facing dog, gaze up, look to your nose. Shat, exhale, look back to your feet. 1 breath. Smooth, steady breathing. 2, hopefully feeling the body generating some heat now with this breathing, linked with these movements, is 3. Fingers spread nice and wide into the mat behind your head. 4. Some awareness to your abdomen as best you can to support this full deep breathing is 5. And Supta, the 7th movement, bending the knees. Inhale, jump or step the feet through, lift the gaze, straight back. Ashto, exhale, forward bend, let the head hang. Nava, 9th movement, last movement. Inhale, arms up, look to your thumbs. Exhale, coming back to Samastitihi, front of mat, hands by sides. Surya Namaskara B, bend the knees. Inhale, arms up and look up. 2nd movement, exhale, folding down, let the head hang. 3rd movement, inhale, head up, lift the gaze. The 4th movement, hands down, jump or step the feet back, elbows in, press to lower. 5th movement, inhale, upward facing dog. 6th movement, downward facing dog, but now the left heel turns in. So the 7th movement of this 2nd sun salutation, right foot steps through, bend the knee, inhale, arms up for warrior. 8th movement, exhale, hands down, stay low to step that right foot back and lower down. Inhale, press back into the toes, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, right heel turns in. The 11th movement, the left foot steps through, bend the knee, inhale, arms up, look up if you can. Exhale, hands down on the ground, stay low to step back if you can. Inhale, upward facing dog. And the 14th movement of the 2nd sun salutation is where we pause for 5 steady breaths. So just find the posture, that's 1 breath. Smooth, steady breathing. The breathing, a little bit more challenging because of the extra movements of the 2nd sun salutation. That's already 2 breaths. The same option is there if you need to back off, soften the knees, even come down onto your knees for a breather. That's 3 breaths. Keep moving the chest back towards the feet. Keep spreading the fingers into the mat behind your head is 4 breaths. You're doing really well. Keep the legs active. 1 more breath makes that 5. Bend the knees, jump or step the feet through, head up. Exhale, falling down, let the head hang. You can soften the knees here, but bend the knees more. So we finish the same way we started. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to sides. That was 17 movements. Couple more. Bend the knees, inhale, arms up, gently looking up. Exhale, try and lift the hips a little bit to put the hands down, eventually on the ground. Let the head hang. Inhale, hands low, straight arms straight back, lift the gaze. Exhale, jump or step the feet back, elbows in. Don't worry if you're not doing what I'm doing, just whatever it takes. Upward facing dog, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left heel turns in. Try and keep that back heel on the mat. Right foot comes through. Inhale, arms up, full breath. Exhale, keep breathing, hands down, stay low to step back and lower down, elbows in. Inhale, another upward facing dog, lift the chest. Exhale all the way back, downward facing dog, right heel turns in. And try and keep that back foot on the mat. Left foot steps through, bend the knee. Inhale, arms up, look up if that feels okay. Exhale, plant the hands, fingers spread, step back, elbows into lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog, keep breathing. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. 1. Faces nice and soft and relaxed, mouth gently closed. 2. As best you can, breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the nose. That's 3 breaths. Keep lots of space around the shoulders. 4. So the head feels nice and heavy as you gaze back behind you. 5. Bending the knees, preparing to jump or step the feet through. Feet close, lift the gaze, look up. Exhale, folding down. Remember, no problem to soften the knees if you need to, but bend the knees more, sink down, drop the hips, lift the arms up, look up. Exhale, hands by sides. 17 movements then, as we said. Sanskrit numbers, Ekam, bend the knees, inhale, arms up. Dwe, second movement, exhale, folding down. Trini, inhale, head up, straight arms straight back. Chatwari, exhale, jump or step back, elbows in, press, feet a little way apart. Pancha, inhale, press back into the toes, lift the chest, upward facing dog. Shat, exhale, all the way back, down facing dog. Supta, right foot steps through, bend the knee, inhale, arms up. Ashto, 8th movement, exhale, hands down on the ground, step back, try and keep your body in a straight line as you go down. Nava, inhale, upward facing dog. Desha, exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot steps through. Ekadasha, inhale, bend the knee, arms up, look up. Dwadasha, hands flat down if you can, spread the fingers. Keep the body strong to lower down. Trayodasha, inhale, upward facing dog on the tops of the feet, lift the chest. Chaturdasha, that's 14. Last downward facing dog for 5 breaths. You're doing really well. That's 1 breath. Breathe here. 2. Breathing with sound. Can you hear the breath? 3. As you inhale and exhale. 4. Support from the abdomen. Fill the lungs as you inhale. Empty the lungs as you exhale. 5. Panchadasha, 15. Jumping or stepping through. Lift the gaze. Shodasha, exhale, falling down, let the head hang. And finally, bend the knees, Saptadasha, bend the knees, sink down nice and low, inhale, arms up. Exhale, Samasthitihi, feet together, hands by sides. Our standing postures then, Padangusthasana is first. Separate the feet, reach down, eventually picking up big toes, lift the gaze, and then exhale, falling into the posture for 5 breaths. If taking hold of your big toes is too much, hold on to the ankles or shin. That's 1 breath. Try and just let the head hang wherever you are is 2. If it's too intense to do this with completely straight legs, soften the knees, no problem, is 3. Remember, I'm showing you the full postures now. Don't worry if you're not doing exactly what I'm doing. It's already 4 breaths. Breath is the most important thing. And that's 5 breaths. So to get out of this, inhale, straight arms, straight back, look up. Just exhale, pause there. Hands underneath the feet for Padahastasana. And then inhale, reset, straight arms, straight back. And exhaling down into the second forward bend. Relax the shoulders, let the head hang as 1 breath. If it's too much to get the hands all the way underneath the feet, maybe start with your fingertips, that's 2 breaths. Or if that's too much, just hold on to the ankles again. 3, there's lots of options for all these postures, but remember the most important thing we're doing is breathing. 4, keep the hips lifting up, let the head hang down towards the mat, 1 more breath. 5, inhale, head up, straight arm, straight back, exhale, taking the hands back to the waist, inhale, standing, exhale, hands by sides. Trikonasana, stepping out to the right. Remember, right foot to the back, left foot turns in, arms extended, and that right hand goes back and down. Eventually picking up the big toe with 2 fingers and look up to your left hand. If it's too much to reach down for your big toe, hold on to the ankle or the shin. That's 1 breath. Eventually, both legs are straight, but if it's too intense, just soften that right knee at the front if you need to. It's already 3 breaths. Space across the shoulders. Keep the gaze steady. 4. If you're struggling to look up and balance, you can just look across to the side. 1 more breath is 5. We inhale, come up and switch sides. Left foot to the front, right foot turns in. Left hand goes forward and down, eventually for the big toe, looking up, this time to right hand. That's one breath. Sometimes postures feel different from right side to left side, so just be with any differences. That's 2 breaths. It doesn't have to be the same on this side. Nice strong back right leg is 3 breaths. Try and keep space across the shoulders. Nice and easy on the neck as you look up. It's 4. And 5. Inhale, we come up and we square up to the back of the mat. Right foot to the back, left foot turns in, hips square. And then that left hand comes down as we spiral. This is a twist to look up to our right fingertips. And we had lots of options in the previous lessons. So that left hand might be on your right foot or the leg. And your right hand might be on your waist if it's too much to extend it up. It's already 2 breaths. Wherever you are though, steady breathing. I try and keep that back left leg as straight as you can, but you can soften that right knee if it's too intense. 4, one more breath. 5, exhale, look down. Inhale, coming up and squaring up to the front of your mat, left foot facing forwards. So your right hand goes down either on the ground or on top of that leg, and then look up towards your left fingertips. And again, if it's too much to lift that left arm, you can have that hand on your waist. It's already 2 breaths. As we twist though, make sure the breath is not being constrained. Nice easy breathing is 3. Keep that back leg strong. Just see how you get on with that left leg at the front. Don't overdo it. 4. See if you can take one nice long deep breath. It's 5. Exhale, look down. Feet parallel. Inhale, coming up to the side. And then exhale, we keep returning back to the front of the mat, feet together, hands by side. Ready for Theta Parsvakonasana. Nice wide stance. And as you sink down, bend your right knee, keep that back leg strong. Full posture is for that right hand to go down on the ground, but if that's too much, right forearm on your knee, and then bring that left arm up and over. Trying to do the best you can to straighten that left arm. There's already 2 breaths. Keep that back left foot pressing back nice and strong. 3, make sure your right knee is happy wherever you are. 4, feel that nice stretch down the left side of the torso. 5, the inhale lifts us up, still nice and wide with the feet. Turn left foot to the front, turn that right foot in and bend the knee. Remember, if your left hand is not going down on the ground, left forearm just in front of the knee, and sweep that right arm over. If you feel you can look to your fingertips, you can. If not, look across to the side. That's already 2 breaths. This is the left side of Parsvakonasana, side angle posture. 3, nice strong back right leg. It's already 4 breaths. Keep breathing. 5, inhale coming up. And this is the revolved Parsvakonasana, the twist. So it's quite challenging. And if you're not putting that left hand down on the ground, a nice way in is to put your hands in prayer position, trying to keep that back leg nice and strong as you bend your right knee. That's 2 breaths. Remember the options from previous lessons, don't worry if you're not doing the full posture, is 3. Most important thing we're doing, as always, is breathing for 4 breaths. 1 more breath is 5. Exhale, look down. Inhale, come up and switch the feet. Left foot to the front, right foot turns in. Bend that left knee. And remember, hands in prayer position, rolling that left shoulder back. A great way in. And then now the full posture. Right hand down on the ground. Left hand comes over. If possible, looking to your fingertips. That's 2 breaths. Try and keep that back leg as strong as you can. The challenge could be to get that heel on the mat if it's coming up. Is 3. Steady breathing. Face nice and relaxed. Is 4 breaths. 1 more breath. 5. Exhale, look down. Take a moment. Inhale, coming up to the side. Stretch out the arms, palms facing down. Exhale, feet together, hands by side. Prasarita Padottanasana A. Stepping nice and wide, hands on the waist. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, folding down. Eventually, hands on the ground in a line with the feet. Inhale, head up to prepare, and exhale into the posture. At some point you're putting your head down on the mat between the hands. If that's not possible, that's fine. You might have the hands slightly in front. You might want to soften the knees if it's too intense with straight legs. That's already 2 breaths. Keep pressing weight through the toes. Make sure it's not sinking back into the heels too much. That's already 4 breaths. You're doing really well. Keep the breath steady. 5. After 5 breaths, inhale, head up. Just come up halfway, straight arm, straight back. Exhale, pause there. Take the hands back to the waist, squeeze in so we can inhale the rest of the way up and exhale there. So we've got some more variations to go. The B variation, inhale, arms out to the side. Exhale, find that connection with the waist and don't let go. Inhale, lift the chest, and then exhale down into the second variation. Head hangs, don't worry if it doesn't feel like it's nowhere near the floor, just do what you can and breathe. But you can try and use some abdominal strength to draw the chest back between the legs. It's already 3. Breathe in, breathe out. 4. Try and keep the legs switched on, even if you've got the knees bent. Try and keep the hips lifting as the head hangs down. 5 breaths, well done. Inhale all the way up in 1 breath. Exhale there. C variation. Inhale, arms out to the side, palms facing down. Exhale, you have to feel your way to interlace the fingers behind the back. Maintain that connection. Inhale, lift the chest, straight arms behind you. And exhale. And as you fall forward again, try and draw the arms back and over. At some point that's down on the mat behind the head, but realistically you might just work the arms up towards the ceiling to begin with. That's 2 breaths. This posture great for the shoulders, but make sure you're not overdoing it. That's 3 breaths. Keep the toes spreading down into the ground. That's 4. 1 more breath. 5. Inhale, slowly coming all the way up. And once you're up to standing, exhale, hands to waist. And with the hands on the waist, inhale, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. And then the last variation of Prasarita Padottanasana D has us taking hold of the big toes with 2 fingers, lifting the gaze, and then exhale, falling down, elbows out to the side. And if it's too much to take hold of the big toes, ankles or shins will suffice. That's 2 breaths. Just let the head hang, eventually gazing back behind us. 3. Keep the legs working, keep lifting the hips. Nice soft shoulders. 4. 1 more breath here. 5. And coming out in stages, inhale halfway up, straight arm, straight back. Exhale there, releasing hands from feet to waist. Once you've got that connection, inhale up and exhale, returning to the front of the mat, feet together, hands by sides, ready for Parsvottanasana. Taking hands behind back. And at some point that's reverse prayer position. If that's too much, hold elbows behind the back instead. Squaring up to the back of the mat, lift the chest, right foot facing back, and exhale. This is a forward bend over that right leg, but take it steady. Eventually, chin down towards the shin. And if you need to soften that right knee, you can. That's 2 breaths. But I keep that back left leg nice and strong. Keep pressing gently backwards is 3 breaths. You're trying to gently encourage your spine to lengthen down that right leg. Gazing to your toes is 4. 1 more breath here. 5. We inhale, come up, and we turn to face the front for the left side of the posture. Left foot to the front, right foot turns in, lift the chest. Exhale, folding out and over your left leg. Hands still in prayer position, but remember, no problem holding your elbows instead. Gaze to left toes. That's 2 breaths. Nice strong back right leg. If it's too intense over that left leg, you can either back off or soften the knee. I wouldn't overly bend that left knee. Just be happy wherever you are. Is 3. 4. Smooth, steady breathing in through the nose and out through the nose is 5. Inhale, come up to the side. Nice to stretch out the arms and relax the shoulders after that. Exhale, back to the front, feet together, hands by sides. Taking the right leg, the foot or underneath the knee. Stand up nice and tall. Now, optionally, you can fall forwards over that right leg, but I wouldn't worry about that too much until the leg is straight. That's 2 breaths already. Just be happy wherever you are. It's 3 breaths. The main aim is just to balance on that left leg. 4, 5. Inhale, make sure you're standing up nice and tall. And then exhaling, and that leg now, your right leg going out to the right. Just do whatever you can. Remember the knee could be bent. It's already 2 breaths. You could at some point have the challenge of looking over your left shoulder. That's 4 breaths. Keep that left leg nice and strong. 5. Inhale back to center. Exhale, fall forwards or just breathe out for a breath. Inhale, standing up nice and tall and both hands on the waist. Keep that right foot lifted. That's 1, 2, 3. Try not to lean back, just relax the face. 4, 5. Exhale, release. Right hand on waist and bending left knee or that leg eventually straight. Taking hold of the big toe is the final completion of the posture to fall forwards for 5 breaths. That's 1, 2, but again, I wouldn't worry about folding forwards until that leg is fairly straight. 3, nice strong right leg. 4, 1 more breath. 5, inhale, make sure you're standing up nice and tall, and then exhaling that leg to the left. Again, whatever feels okay. You might still be holding up underneath that left knee. That's 2 breaths. 3, eventually looking over right shoulder. 4, 5. Inhale back to center. Exhale, just fall forward for a breath or simply just exhale standing up. Inhale, make sure you're standing up nice and tall and both hands on the waist again, but this time pointing the left foot away from you. That's 1, 2. Try and keep that right leg nice and strong. 3, 4. Well done. Keep breathing. 5. Exhale, release. Give the legs a little bit of a shake out. Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana is up next, but tree posture is a realistic way into this more challenging posture. So you could simply put the sole of that right foot on the inside of left leg. The full posture is half lotus reaching round, that might be a starting point, and finally folding down. So I'm showing you here the full posture. Don't worry if you're not doing this. Tree posture, a great way in. It's already 3 breaths wherever you are. 4, and 5. From the full posture, you take a few breaths to come out. So inhale, head up, exhale, soften that left knee, inhale the rest of the way up, and wherever you were, releasing that right leg, ready for the left side. So tree posture, Vikrasana on the left side, a nice way in, sole of left foot on inside of right leg, but at some point that left leg further around in half lotus, maybe just standing in half lotus until you've got the foot and you feel secure, and then folding forwards with that right hand going down. That's 1 breath. For in tree posture, you could do variations of lifting the arms up over the head with the fingers moving away from each other or interlacing the fingers. That's already 3 breaths wherever you are. 4 and 5. To get out of the full posture, inhale, head up, exhale there, softening right knee, inhale the rest of the way up. And if you're in tree posture, releasing that left foot. We move through a vinyasa to get to Utkatasana. So inhale, arms up, look up as if you're starting off a sun salutation. Exhale, folding down, let the head hang. Inhale, head up, straight arms straight back. Exhale, jump or step the feet back, a little way apart, elbows in to lower down. Keep breathing. Inhale on the tops of the feet, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Exhale just for a breath, downward facing dog. So you remember now we inhale, jump or step through, feet together, bend the knees, sink down, inhale, arms up. 5 breaths here. 1. Keep sinking down as you lift the fingers up. 2. Try and keep as much space as you can around the shoulders. 3. If you can look up, you're catching sight of your thumbs, or you can look straight ahead. And 5 breaths. Exhale, folding down, let the head hang. Inhale, either look up and eventually a little lift up. To exhale, jump the feet back behind us. Inhale again, upward facing dog, lift the chest. Exhale to down facing dog, left heel turns in. Right foot steps through first. Inhale, between the hands, bend the knees. Inhale, arms up. And if you can, and you feel okay looking up, gaze again to thumbs. Virabhadrasana, 5 breaths. That's already 2 breaths with that back leg nice and strong. Make sure your right knee is happy at the front supporting you. It's 4 breaths. Keep sinking down, lifting the fingers up is 5. Now we turn to the left. So left foot to the back of the mat, bending knee, back right leg strong. Hips are square to the back of the mat as you look back up, same arm position. That's 2 breaths. This is the left side of Virabhadrasana. This is Warrior 1. That's 4 breaths. Nice strong back leg, 1 more breath. 5. Then opening the arms up, same leg position, but turning your hips to the side of the mat and lowering the arms parallel to the ground. Look over your left fingertips. That's 2 breaths. Try and roll the hips away from each other. 3. Soft shoulders, move the fingers away from each other in opposite direction is 4. See if you can hold it, 1 more breath. 5. Then same upper body position, switch the feet. Right foot to the front, left foot turns in. Try and track that right knee over the heel. That's 1 breath. Gazing over right fingertips, keep the gaze nice and soft is 2. Keep that back left leg nice and strong. 3. And 1 more breath again is 5. Exhale the hands either side of that right foot. Stay low. Eventually there's a little lift up here, but it's pretty tricky, so I'd be happy just jumping back from there and lowering down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. That was the end of the standing postures, so ready to come through to sitting. So jump, step, hop, walk the feet through and straighten out the legs in front of you. Remember the option, if you wanted to sit on a block, you could. We're trying to sit up nice and straight. Hands by sides, fingers spread, toes up towards the ceiling. It's 1 breath. Good reminder here before we start the seated postures to keep that awareness to the abdomen, keep this full deep breathing nice and steady. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. That's already 4 breaths. 1 more breath is 5. Inhale, head up, and you're taking hold of your big toes for Paschimottanasana A, but if that's too much, you could put your hands on shins or ankles. And then exhale, folding down. Folding to wherever feels okay for you, and the option, if you wanted to soften the knees, is there, is 2. So it doesn't want to feel like you're overdoing it on the hamstrings. You could always back off if you need to. Soft shoulders, that's already 4 breaths. It's about trying to move your chest towards the legs. Don't worry about your head. After 5 breaths, inhale, head up, straight arm, straight back. And there's a B variation where you can explore possibly going a little bit further with the hands. Inhale, head up again, and exhale, fold down. And if that's not possible to take the hands any further around the feet, just be happy wherever you are. That's 2 breaths. And don't worry if you're not as far into the postures I'm showing you here. Just measure your practice day by day. It's 3 and 4. Keep the legs nice and active so you're supported in the posture. 5. Inhale, coming up, straight arm, straight back. Exhale there. And our first seated vinyasa. Inhale, press, cross the ankles to jump, step, hop the feet back, and then exhale, lower down. Inhale, we do an upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog just for a breath. And inhale, coming through for our next posture, Purvottanasana. Straight legs, hands behind the hips, facing forward, spread the fingers. And keeping the legs switched on, lift the chest, inhale up into Purvottanasana. That's 1 breath. If it's too intense to do this with straight legs, you can soften the knees. It's 2. If you're worried about your neck looking back, just keep your chin tucked in. It's 3. Hips up towards the ceiling. 4. Press the hands down into the mat. 5. Exhale, lowering down. And again, a vinyasa. Crossing ankles, knees to chest, hands flat. Whatever it takes to jump, step, hop, walk the feet back behind you, elbows in, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Coming through for Ardha Baddha Padma Paschimottanasana. And as you jump a step through, we do a series of postures right side first. In this first variation, leg is in half lotus. If that's too much, just place your right foot on the inside of that left leg. Inhale, lift the chest. We prepare for all of these 4 bends and then exhale into the posture. If you can't reach your right hand back behind you, just put both hands in front. That's 2 breaths. Most important thing here is to make sure your right knee is happy. You don't want to overdo it. So listen to your body, keep breathing. And after 5 breaths, inhale, opening up, exhale. Now, vinyasas between sides are optional. So eventually we inhale, lift up, exhale, jump back as I'm showing you. Inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. But you could just switch sides and then aim to do more of these vinyasas over time. If you did the vinyasa, we're jumping or stepping through for the left side, where we take the left foot into half lotus, but again, making sure the knee is happy. If you can reach round, you're taking the foot itself with the right hand going forwards to inhale, lift the chest, and exhale into the posture. If you're not doing this, you could just have your left foot up against the inside of that right leg. That's 2 breaths. 3, keep the shoulders nice and soft. 4, keep that right leg switched on to support you as you fold forwards. 5. Inhale, opening up, straight arm, straight back. We take a breath there and exhale, release. Ready for another vinyasa. Alternate the way you cross your ankles from time to time. Lift up to jump or step back. Inhale on the tops of the feet. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, upward facing dog. Exhale all the way back, downward facing dog. Next posture, Trang Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. As we jump or step through, we reverse fold that right leg back. And you might want to sit on a block for this posture to balance the hips, lift the chest, and exhale, folding forwards. That's 1 breath. Don't worry if you're not folding forwards so much. You might want to just work on the leg position. It's 2 breaths. The knee's eventually fairly close, but if you need some space there, that's okay too. That's 4 breaths. Make sure everything feels okay though. 5. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, release. Either, remember, you can just simply change sides, or you might be moving back through the vinyasa at your own level. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Jumping or stepping through for the left side. So we reverse fold that left leg back. Again, you might be sitting on a block to reach the hands forward towards your right foot, lift the chest, and exhale down into the posture. That's 1 breath. In all of these forward bend postures, and there's a few still coming up, don't overdo it over that leg in front. Try and move your chest forward and just let the head follow. That's 3 and 4 breaths. 5. Inhale, opening up, straight arm, straight back. Exhale, release, crossing ankles. Or from there, eventually you might jump back. Jump or step back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Next posture, Janu Shirshasana A. As you jump or step through, this is a little bit more accessible. This is about placing the sole of the right foot on the inside of that left leg. Reaching forwards, doesn't have to be for the foot, it might be for the shin or the ankle, and then exhale, folding down. Try and feel the right foot up against the inside of your left leg, so the legs are energized. That's 2 breaths. Shoulders soft, try and move the shoulders back away from the ears is 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, opening up, straight arm, straight back. Exhale, release. Either changing sides or inhale, lift up to jump or step the feet back, moving through the vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left side as we jump or step through, straightening out that right leg and taking sole of left foot and try and feel it engaged on the inside of that right leg. Reaching hands forwards towards right foot and then exhale, folding down. And at some point, if you can reach beyond the foot, you can hold the opposite wrist. But wherever you are, keep breathing. 3, try and keep that right leg switched on. 4, face relaxed, mouth gently closed. 5, inhale, opening up, straight arm, straight back. Take a full breath there. Exhale, release. Crossing ankles, knees to chest. Inhale up, whatever it takes. Step or hop the feet back, elbows in. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So Janu Shirshasana B is up next. As we jump or step through, you're eventually sitting on your right heel with the toes as much as you can facing forwards. Straight left leg, lift the chest, reach forwards, and exhale, fall down. You notice here that your knee, your right knee, is moved in a little bit, but not too far, just a little bit in from 90 degrees. That's 2 breaths. Just be with the sensation of sitting on your heel. Is 3, and as always, keep breathing. 4, 5. Inhale, opening up, straight arm, straight back. Exhale, release. Take a few extra breaths here if you just want to switch sides, or if you want to move through the vinyasa. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, jump or step back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Jumping or stepping through, you are going to sit on your left heel. Left knee moves in. Try and get those left toes facing forwards. Straight right leg. Lift the chest, reach forwards. Exhale, folding forwards. At some point, your chin is down on your shin, or your forehead could be on your shin if that's a little bit more comfortable. That's 2 breaths, but don't worry if it feels like you're not quite there. 3, you might be sitting more upright, and that's perfectly fine. 4, and 5. Inhale, opening up, straight arm, straight back. Exhale there. Crossing ankles, knees to chest. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump or step the feet back, elbows into lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down facing dog. And Janu Shirshasana C. And this is where we had the options in previous lessons of possibly just coming down onto your knees with the toes behind you. But I'm going to show you the full posture now, right side first. So the toes come down and the heel up towards the ceiling, and then you fold eventually over your right heel. If that's too much, just be nice and easy and maybe doing a modification here. That's 1 breath, because you don't want to twist your right knee or overdo it in the ankle. That's 3. So you might just be doing this posture sitting more upright. Is 4. And 5 breaths. And in these more challenging postures, you might want to inhale, come up now, and just get ready to change sides without the added vinyasa. Of course, if you want to do the vinyasa to move through, then you lift up and jump or step back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And coming through for the left side of Janu Shirshasana C, where we come through straight right leg and gently maneuver the left toes down and the left heel up. And that left knee's moved in a bit. So eventually you're folding over your heel as you exhale, forward bend into the posture. And that's 1 breath. And that reminder, if you wanted to do the variations that we've been exploring still, where you are on your toes together on your knees, just to get that foot position, that's perfectly fine too. That's 3 breaths. 4, 5. Inhale, opening up, full breath. Look up, exhale, release that left foot, crossing ankles, knees to chest. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, jump or step back to lower down. Keep breathing. Inhale, press back into the toes, upward facing dog, look up. Exhale, all the way back, down facing dog. Inhale, Marachasana A. So that right knee is bent and the left leg is straight as you reach round. If it's too much to reach round, you could just have the hands in front, or you could use a belt behind you as you fold over your left leg. That's 1 breath. Be happy wherever you are. Is 2. Remember, this is a breathing exercise. The most important thing we're doing is really maintaining that steady quality of breath, and that's already 4. 5. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, release. Something to work towards could be to lift up from that same leg position to jump or step back, or just a regular vinyasa, or just waiting to switch sides. If you're moving through, inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then inhale, coming through for the left side, where the left knee bends and the foot slides back, so you can get that left arm back and round, and over time that right arm goes back too to get the bind, or use a belt, lift the chest, and this time we're exhaling, folding over right leg. Keep that right leg active. Start moving your head gently down towards the leg, but try and keep a lift to the chest to extend the spine. That's 3 breaths. Try and keep that left foot gently pressing down to the mat. 4. Keep the breath nice and steady as best you can. 5. Inhale, opening up, either from there, crossing ankles, whatever it takes to lift up. Exhale, just keep practicing these lifts. Jump or step back, elbows in, press the mat away from you to inhale, upward facing dog, lift the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. And next up is Marachasana B, where we jump or step through. Over time, that left foot is in half lotus as you bend that right knee. If that feels too much, just simply place that left foot underneath by your right hip. Again, we reach round. You could use a belt, and then exhale, folding down. So you're folding down between your right foot and your left knee. That's 1 breath. 2. Over time, your chin or your forehead could be on the mat. Don't worry if you're not there yet. 4. And 5. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, release. Either change sides or take a vinyasa. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump or step back, elbows in. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, coming through for the left side. For the left side, the right foot at some point is going into half lotus. If that's not happening, just place that right foot underneath on the ground and then bend your left knee and reach the arms back to lift the chest. Exhale, folding forwards. On these more challenging postures, don't worry if it takes you a few breaths to get into the posture. Over time, you'll simply get in a little bit quicker. That's already 2 breaths. 3. But now you're in the posture, wherever you are, try and maintain some stillness to the posture. Is 4. Simply concentrating on the breath is 5. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, releasing. From there, possibly, or cross the ankles, whatever it takes, jump or step back, moving through the vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down facing dog. We keep resetting between each of the postures, these seated postures. For Marachasana C, same position as the legs for the A. Left leg is straight, right knee bends, but this time we twist. Keep the hips grounded, lift the chest, and look to the side, eventually back. And you don't necessarily have to bind the arms back. You could just be drawing your right knee into the midline. That's already 2 breaths. Or an option we had in previous lessons was just to get your left elbow on the outside of right knee, fingers up towards the ceiling. It's 4. Either way, keep breathing. And 5. Exhale, face the front, release the twist. From there, or taking a regular vinyasa, or simply switching sides. Inhale, upward facing dog if you're moving through. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, jumping or stepping through for the left side of Marachasana C, where the right leg is straight and the left knee bends. Try and keep that left hip grounded, so as you start to turn, you won't lose any of the benefits of the twist. Full posture to reach round and bind, or the options to move the hands wherever feels comfortable. Try and feel like you're inhaling, sitting up tall. Exhale into the twist is 3. Let the head follow. You don't have to be looking to the back of the room. You might just be looking across to the side is 4. Keep that right leg working even though you can't see it. 5. Inhale, face the front. Exhale, release to lift up, to jump or step back, elbows in. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And Marachasana D. This is a challenging posture where we twist again, but with the left leg in half lotus and bending that right knee. Same option as Marachasana B, just have that left foot on the floor if it's too much to put into half lotus. So lots of options then for you to twist to the right, try and sit up tall, breathe. You might just simply be using your left hand to draw your right knee in towards the chest as you twist. That's a great way into this posture. 3, 4, one more breath, is 5. Inhale, facing the front, exhale, release. We're lifting up to jump or step the feet back, moving through the vinyasa, to inhale, upward facing dog, to exhale all the way back, downward facing dog. Ready for the left side. And for the left side of the posture, that right leg at some point will be in half lotus. But if that's too much, put that foot on the floor as you bend your left knee. You could always work towards the half lotus. Then reaching round. If you're not binding, just do what you can to draw that left knee in. Sit up nice and tall and exhale into the twist. That's one breath. It's really important when we twist that we don't overdo it and lose the focus on the breath. 2. So you should be able to breathe easily here. Smooth breath in through the nose. Smooth breath out is 3. Face relaxed. 4. 5. Inhale, face the front. Exhale and do the legs. Cross ankles, knees to chest, hands flat. Inhale up. Exhale, jump or step back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Coming through to Navasana. This halfway point in the primary series, you're doing really well. Stay with it, keep breathing. Straight legs, straight arms, point the toes. 5 breaths here is 1, 2, use some abdominal strength. 3, 4, 5. And if we can do a little lift in between each one, but we're doing 4 more. That's 1 breath. And if it's too much to have the legs straight, just soften the knees a bit. 2, you're looking straight over your toes to the front of the room. That's 4 breaths already. 5, exhale, release. You can cross your ankles the other way around, hands flat. Don't worry if you're not lifting up too much, just press into the mat for a breath and come back. 3rd Navasana. 1. Just do what you can. If you're getting tired, 2, you can always back off. 3, if you're really struggling, pick up underneath the knees. 4, 5, crossing ankles, knees to chest, hands flat. Press even if nothing much is happening. Exhale, release. 2 more, keep going. That's 1 breath. Point the toes if you can. 2, keep lifting up. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. 3, 4, 5. Exhale, release. Crossing ankles, hands flat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. And last one. 5 breaths. 1, boat posture, Navasana. 2, face as relaxed as you can. 3, smile if you can. 4, 5, releasing, crossing ankles, knees to chest. Inhale up, jump or step back, elbows in. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And this is Bhujapadasana. So, lots of options here for this challenging posture. The full posture is to jump the feet around, cross the ankles, and lift the chest, head up, and then exhale down into the posture. If you're not doing that yet, just be happy walking the feet around the hands and eventually in front, and then just lowering down from there. And over time, you can get more weight onto the hands. That's 3, 4, wherever you are. 5. From the full posture, we inhale, lift up, straighten the legs. Exhale to Bakasana, just for a breath. You could explore that if you wish. Hold it, and then exhale, jump or step back, elbows into lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Kurmasana's up next as we inhale, jump or step the feet again around the hands to lower down. You could just jump through regularly and then separate the feet, bending the knees and trying to lower down. At some point you are putting your chest down towards the mat, the head follows, and the arms can go underneath the knees. That's 2 breaths. If you're not doing the full posture, that's okay. Just do any of the modifications we talked about from the last few lessons. That's 4 and 5. And Supta Kurmasana, I would be happy initially just staying in this posture, getting the feet a little bit closer, and if you can, reach the arms back behind you. The full posture is actually to sit up, put the feet behind the head. This is obviously fairly advanced, and then lowering down to then reach the hands back behind you. Took me many years to do this posture, so don't rush. That's 1 breath. Just be happy if you are just in a variation of this more challenging posture. It's 2, 3, 4, 1 more breath, 5. Hands then go down on the mat. Inhale, lift up. The same transition as the previous posture. Lift up straight legs. Exhale, swing back to Bakasana, crow posture just for a breath. Try and lift the chest. Exhale, jump or step back. Elbows into lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, jumping through for Garbha Pindasana. And lots of options for this posture. The full posture in lotus, right side first, and then reaching the hands through the lotus. If you can do lotus but you can't put your hands through, just reach the hands around the knees. And if you're not doing lotus, just simply sit cross-legged and reach your arms around the knees and hug in. That's one breath. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we round here, and you could still be doing this crossed ankles. And it's a nice release from the spine. So exhale back, inhale up. If it's not possible to go around in a circle, that takes a little bit of time. Just roll backwards and forwards a few times on your mat. Try and keep breathing. Just as many times, rotations as it takes. And then we inhale on that last breath up into Kukutasana. The full posture has the hands through still the lotus, but you could be on the outside. It's an opportunity just to do an extended lift. That's 2 breaths. 3, if you've got your ankles crossed, just see if you can get the hips off the ground. 4, 5, exhale, release. Further down the line, you can keep your feet in lotus to jump or step back, but more realistically, you might want to uncross the ankles and take your vinyasa. As you jump back, lower down, inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And coming through for Baddha Konasana. So draw the feet in and the knees go out to the side, gently opening up the soles of the feet. Try and sit up nice and tall just to prepare, and then exhale, folding forwards, just going as far as feels appropriate. Eventually the chin or the forehead on the mat, but take it steady on the knees. Keep breathing as 3, 4, 5. Inhale, come back up. And the second variation of Baddha Konasana is to round down. So curve the spine and direct your head towards the feet. That's 1 breath. The hips roll back as you go forwards is 2, 3. Just let gravity do some of the work is 4. Steady breathing. 5. Inhale, coming all the way up, straight back, pause there, exhale, and release. Crossing ankles for a vinyasa, inhale up, exhale, taking it back, elbows into lower down, inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Jumping through, coming through to sit, straighten out the legs, and then spread the legs with the toes straight up towards the ceiling and reaching for the sides of the feet if possible, or the ankles or the shins. Lift the chest and exhale, moving the chest down towards the mat, letting the head follow, being happy wherever you are. That's 2 breaths. Keep the legs switched on to support the posture is 3. If you need to soften the knees, of course you can. That's 4. 1 more steady breath, keep breathing. 5. Inhale, opening up for a breath, straight arm, straight back. Exhale, release. And then we lift up and reattach the hands with the head gently raised up. That's already 2 breaths. Take it easy on the neck though. 3. Try and keep the legs working. Point the toes if you can. 4. 5. Exhale, releasing. And then crossing ankles to lift up, or eventually with straighter legs, and then taking it back however you can. Don't worry if you're not doing what I'm doing. We move through upward facing dog, and then downward facing dog, and we come through for Supta Konasana. It's the same posture we just did, but upside down. So you lie down on your back, nice and easy on the neck as we take the feet up and over. Once you've got hold of the big toes, separate the feet. If you have any concerns about your neck, better just to support the back and just get used to this movement to begin with. It's already 2 breaths. As best you can though, keep the hips lifting up towards the ceiling is 3. The legs are working. 4. Double check, there's no pressure in the neck. 5. Inhale, we see if we can rock up to sitting with straight legs, soften the knees if you need to, and then exhale, coming down just for a breath. Inhale. Head up, ready for our next vinyasa, crossing ankles, knees to chest, hands flat, fingers spread, press to jump or step the feet back, elbows into lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, exhale all the way back, downward facing dog. Coming through for Supta Padangusthasana. Now we did this recently as we lie down on our backs, and you could, if you wanted to, use a belt or a strap. It's right leg first, which we inhale up, take hold of the big toes if that's possible, And like the standing variation, you could lift the head up towards the knee, trying to keep that left leg straight. If that's not possible, just keep your back on the ground and whatever feels okay. It's already 2 breaths. 3, again, if you need to soften that right knee, you can. This is fairly intense on the back of that right leg, so don't overdo it. It's 4 and 5. Make sure you're lying flat down and then take that leg out to the right. Be really careful you don't roll to the right, so only take that leg as far as feels okay. That's 1 breath. The gaze will be over your left shoulder. That's 3. Keep that left leg nice and strong. Point the toes if you can. 4. 1 more breath. 5. Inhale, leg up to center. There's an extra movement which is new. We could possibly exhale just up for a breath, lift the head towards the knee, then exhale, head back down, and then releasing that right leg. Right hand goes on the top of the leg for support as we lift the left leg up and take hold of the big toes if possible. You could do this with the knee bend or use a strap. The full posture is to fold up towards that leg coming down towards you. And as best you can, keep that right leg straight with the toes pointing. That's 2 breaths. 3, it could feel a little bit different on this side, so just be with any differences between the sides of the body is 4. 1 more breath is 5. Inhale, make sure your back is flat on the mat before you take that leg out to the side, to the left. As the leg goes left, you're looking over your right shoulder, but you're trying to keep your hips facing up towards the ceiling. Don't roll onto your left side. That's already 3 breaths. Keep that right leg nice and strong. Is 4 and 5. Inhale back up to center. An extra breath here as we exhale, fall forwards or up, or just breathe in. Exhale, head back down on the mat, and then slowly releasing this left leg. Now we talked about Chakrasana, this backward rolling vinyasa, which I'm showing you here, taking the feet back behind you, flicking the hands forwards to lower down to move through our vinyasa. If that didn't feel like it would be possible, better just to roll up and either wait for the next posture or roll up and take a vinyasa, moving through upward facing dog and downward facing dog and coming through to our next posture. Now this is new, these next 3 postures, so you might want to just watch. Ubaya Padangusthasana has us lying down. As the feet go back, similar to previously Supta, but the feet are together. And then we see if we can inhale and rock up to sitting. If that's not possible with straight legs, soften the knees. If you need to reattach, you can. See if you can lift the gaze slightly and breathe 5 breaths. That's 2. If it felt a bit tricky to get into that posture rolling up, see if you can just get into it. It's a little bit like Navasana for 4 breaths. But you're holding onto the feet. 1 more breath is 5. Exhale, release. We're going to take our vinyasa, so whatever it takes to lift and jump or step the feet back, behind us, elbows in. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And again, this next posture, you might just want to watch Urdhva Mukha Paschimottanasana. It's similar as we jump through, straighten out the legs and lie down. This time as we take the legs up and over, nice and easy on the neck, the weight in the shoulders, we would take the sides of the feet. Exhale there, make sure the legs are active, and then the challenge is to roll up, just as before, staying hold of the feet. The difference between this posture and the previous one is we'd actually fall forwards. Urdhva Mukha, upward facing Paschimottanasana. That's already 3 breaths. Now, of course, you might want to soften the knees, and don't worry if you're not folding up as far. It's 4, 5. Well done. Inhale, come back out, lift the chest. Exhale, release. And I'm showing you some more advanced vinyasas now. This is keeping the legs straight, which is fairly challenging, but whatever it takes for you to jump or step back, elbows into lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog, press back into the toes, lift the chest. Exhale, all the way back, down facing dog. The last seated posture in this primary series is Setu Bandhasana, as we jump through and lie down. Now, just take this posture nice and steady. You might do the preparation, which I'm doing. Bend the knees, heels together, feet apart, lift the chest. You could just be here for 5 breaths. The full posture is actually to lift up with the arms crossed, fingers underneath in the armpits. That's already 2 breaths. And not to worry if you're not doing the full posture, just be happy doing a preparation just to get used to this movement. That's already 4 breaths. Try and keep the breath nice and steady. Eventually you'd work the legs straight in this posture. And 5. Exhale, come down. And anytime we end up finishing a posture lying on our backs, we've got that option of chakrasana, backward rolling vinyasa. But to start off, you might just want to roll up to sitting and take your vinyasa in the usual way. Either way, you're moving through upward facing dog, lifting the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. And coming through then for the first posture of the finishing series, Urdhva Dhanurasana. We're lying down on our backs. Now, the option could be, from the last few lessons we talked about doing bridge posture as preparation. I'm going to be showing you the full posture though 3 times, so just do whatever feels appropriate for you. Strong legs, feet parallel as best you can, lifting up, lift the hips. That's 1 breath. Got to try and keep the breath as steady as you can is 2. Hips up towards the ceiling, but ultimately you're moving your chest back behind you. It's 3. The legs are strong. 4. A lot of the movements of this whole series coming into play now. 5. Exhale, come down. This is the same movement as the upward facing dog. So all of those upward facing dogs preparations for this posture, you might think about this as bridge posture or wheel posture. That's 1 breath. And you can see I'm trying to close the gap between my hands and my feet over time. Is 2. Strong legs, keep lifting the hips. 3. If you need to come down before a count of 5, that's okay. 4. Keep breathing. 5. Exhale, come down. If you've had enough, just pause there on the top of the head maybe, or just come all the way out. And then our last back bend as we inhale, lift up. So the head is hanging between the arms. You're looking to the wall behind you eventually. 2. Try and move your chest back behind you. 3. Try not to let the feet turn out too much. Parallel as best you can and don't let the heels come off the mat. 4. See if you can hold it for 1 more breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Well done. Is 5. And exhale, come down. As you come down, just take a moment there lying on your back. You might want to draw the knees into the chest and give yourselves a little hug. And again, you can either roll back, chakrasana, backward rolling vinyasa, or you might just want to rock up to sitting. We're about to take a forward bend. If you want to do the vinyasa, then inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. And then jumping or stepping through. So we repeat Paschimottanasana, our forward bend, which is a great counter stretch to the 3 postures you've just completed. So you're reaching for ankles, feet, or beyond even, lift the chest, and exhale, fall down. Try and make this nice and relaxing, so it's a nice easy forward bend. That's 2 breaths. So you might want to soften the knees and just round down a little bit more. 3, you don't want to feel any tension in the hamstrings. This is more about just rounding the spine down. 4, keep the shoulders nice and spacious. 5, it's a nice opportunity just to reconnect to the steady breathing. That's 6, smooth breath in and out. 7, keep the face nice and relaxed. 1 more breath. 8. Inhale, head up, straight arm, straight back. Exhale, release. We're taking another vinyasa, crossing ankles, knees to chest, hands flat, jump or step the feet back, elbows into lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, all the way back, down facing dog. And we're coming through for our shoulder stand sequence, doing as much of this as feels appropriate. And we talked about these movements in the last lesson, lesson 12. We start lying on our backs, keeping the body nice and strong, and then lifting the legs up. If you want to go further than this, support the back with the hands, make sure the weight is firmly on the shoulders, off the neck. Zip the legs up towards the ceiling, point the toes and breathe. 1. 2. Now we're actually here for 10 breaths. But if you need to come out before, that's fine. That's 4 breaths. Keep checking in, making sure there's no compression in the neck. This is a shoulder stand. 6. Your gaze is up towards the toes. Try and keep them pointed and try and gently roll the thighs in towards each other. That's 7 breaths. If it's too much to lift up into the full shoulder stand, then you could just be lying on your back with the legs up as a preparation. A couple more breaths is 9. One more breath is 10. Exhaling into Halasana, we talked about using a chair for this. If the feet easily come down on the ground, point the toes, legs straight, and interlace the fingers, straight arms along the length of the mat behind you. We're here for 8 breaths. You could always soften the knees a little bit if it's too much to do with straight legs. That's already 3 breaths. But I would suggest if your feet aren't on the ground, use the fingers to continue to support the back. That's 5. So Halasana, plow posture. 6, breathing in and out is 7. 8. From here, moving into Karnapadasana, you remember we bend the knees and take the knees either side of the ears. That's 1 breath. The full posture is to keep the arms straight, interlacing the fingers still. But if you feel you need to support the back, then feel free to do so. That's 3 breaths. It becomes more challenging to keep the weight on the shoulders and off the neck. So again, any concerns about your neck, better just to support the back or back off a little bit if you need to. That's already 6 breaths. 7. 8. Now we inhale, lift back up into shoulder stand, and these next 2 postures will be new. So you might want to roll out and watch them, or eventually Urdhva Padmasana is upside down lotus for 8 breaths. Now if you're not doing upside down lotus, you might just do upside down very gentle cross-legged. And again, it is easier to begin with to either keep both hands or maybe one hand on the back and one hand on one of your knees. That's 4 breaths. Or you could have the feet together and let the knees drift out, like an upside down Baddha Konasana. That's 6 breaths wherever you are. Make sure the weight on the shoulders. 7. Don't worry if you're not doing this. I appreciate this is a new posture. We're just filling in a couple of the pieces. Is 8. And then the next posture, Pindasana, where you draw your lotus down towards the chest and reach the arms around. That's 1 breath. If you're not in lotus, then you're just reaching around your cross-legged. 2. Or if you've had enough at this point, gently roll out. 3. You can build up the completion of the shoulder stand over time. That's already 5 breaths. 6. Appropriate for the spine to be a little bit more rounded now. 7. 1 more breath is 8. Releasing into Matsyasana. So this is familiar. I'm showing you Matsyasana with full lotus, but you could do half lotus or just cross-legged. If you're doing full lotus, you could reach for your feet. If you're just crossing the legs, it's more appropriate just to put your hands on your waist or the hips. That's 2 breaths, but try and lift the chest and gently have the top of the head on the mat as you look back behind you. That's 4 breaths. If that felt too much on the neck, then you could use the forearms to continue to support on the ground to help with that lift to begin with. 6. 7. 1 more breath is 8. Moving into Uttana Padasana. It's the same upper body lift but with straight legs, straight arms. That's 2 breaths. Now to begin with, it's easier to do this posture just lying flat down on the mat. That's already 4 breaths. 5. So if you're doing the full posture, make sure you're happy with the sensations in the neck and the back of the head on the mat. 7. See if you can hold it for 1 more breath. Point the toes. 8. And then the last time we could do Chakrasana, rolling back out of that posture, but you might want to just back off, release, roll up. And we take a vinyasa, inhale upward facing dog, to exhale downward facing dog, to come down onto our knees and prepare for headstand. So we talked about lots of options for headstand last week, but for here, the full posture, interlacing fingers, making that nice triangular base, straight legs walk in, and then when you're ready, lifting up. Don't worry if you're not doing the full posture. You might want to use a wall. I appreciate there's always the concern you might go over. And breathe. That's one breath. We're going to be here for about 15 nice long steady breaths. So just do what you can. That's 3. Try and really press the forearms down so there's just a minimal amount of weight on the head. You don't want to again feel any compression in the neck. Try and lift the legs up towards the ceiling. If it feels like you've had enough, of course, just come down and just rest in child's pose. We'll eventually get there after this little sequence anyway. Smooth breath in, smooth breath out. That's 5, 6. Challenge is to regulate the breathing. 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it might feel quite a long time to begin with. So if you do need just to come down, that's okay. You could have the challenge of holding it for longer over time. A few more breaths. It's 13. Really keep pressing down through the forearms. 14. 'See if you can hold it. That's about 15 breaths. I'm just going to hold it a little bit longer, but if you need to come down now, you feel free to do so. So even though we're counting up to 15, over time we want to try and work and hold this posture a little bit longer, even up to 5 minutes if possible. We're going to exhale halfway down. If you come all the way down, you could have the challenge of lifting back up to this position. And this is 10 breaths here. That's already 2. It's going to go by fairly quickly, but this is quite challenging to maintain. It's 4. Keep pressing down through the forearms. 5, 6, 7, 8. See if you can hold it. You're doing really well. 9, 10. If you can, inhale, lift up into full headstand just for a breath. Point the toes. This is Shirshasana again. And then exhale, coming down into child's pose. So back off, come down onto the knees. Flick out the feet behind you. Straighten up the arms in front. You can just put the palms down, but relax, round down. Just put your forehead on the mat or a block if you can't come all the way down. If it's too intense with the knees together, separate the knees. Just make this nice and comfortable and relaxing. And we pause here in child's pose, just to feel any possible tensions just seeping away, and a nice opportunity. Nearly finished this practice just to check in with the steady breathing. And then we step or jump back, elbows into lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, reset all the way back, down facing dog. Inhale, jumping or stepping through, just to sitting. I'm demonstrating a more advanced way of coming through into lotus. And then we sit down. So eventually this is done in full lotus, Padmasana. That will be right leg first, then left leg, then left hand back behind, then right. If you're not doing lotus, half lotus might be an option, or cross-legged, all the options we talked about the last few weeks. And if you're not reaching back round for your feet, And unless you're in lotus, that's going to be fairly tricky. Just hold the elbows behind your back. Try and keep the hips grounded, so only go as far forwards as you can without feeling like you're rolling off the ground. We're here for 10 breaths. That's already halfway, I'd say. That's 5 breaths. 6. If it's too intense on the knees, I just come up and modify the way you're sitting cross-legged. 7. 8. 9. 10. That was Baddha Padmasana, bound lotus. We're just coming up into Padmasana, lotus. And the classic yogi seated posture where we put the back of the hands on the knees, take the thumb and the first fingers together, try and sit up straight and then draw the chin down. And we're here for 10 nice long steady breaths. Now, eventually this would still be done in full lotus, right leg first then left. But if you're exploring half lotus, it's worth switching that around from time to time. So you might do right leg first for a few breaths or for one of these last 3 postures, but then switch it to left leg. So you're kind of practicing both sides ready for full lotus. And in this penultimate seated posture, we see if we can draw out and breathe slightly longer, deeper breaths. Use the abdomen to support you as you sit up nice and tall. Chin is tucked down as you look down, keeping the eyes open. Smooth breath in, smooth breath out. Is 6. 7. Don't worry if you're not linked up to me counting these slightly longer numbers through now. If you need to take a few extra breaths, of course, that's fine. Smooth breath in, smooth breath out. Is 8. Couple more rounds of this full deep breathing. And if you can, breathing with sound. You want to be able to gently hear the air as you inhale, hear the air swirling out as you exhale. Is 9. Keep sitting up nice and tall, keep the arms active. Make sure the knees are happy to support you sitting. One more breath. Will be 10. Lift the gaze, preparing for our last posture. We've done this a few times, Uplutihi. If you can maintain lotus, then lift everything off the ground, lift the knees, and see if you can look down to see your nose. That's 1. Now don't worry if you're not holding this for 10 counts. Just do what you can. 2. Maybe just your hips are off the ground. Don't worry about the knees. 3. 4. If you come back down, just have a moment and then lift back up if you can. 5. 6. Couple more breaths. 7. Keep pressing down, spread the fingers. 8. 9. 9.5. Keep breathing, keep lifting. 10. Well done. Exhale, release. And if you can face it, one last vinyasa. Inhale, up, jumping or stepping the feet back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale all the way back to down facing dog. And then inhale, jumping or stepping through, straightening out the legs. Lay down for Shavasana. Well done for getting through all of that. Let the feet flop off to the side. Take the arms nice and wide, palms up towards the ceiling, back of the head on the mat. It's important you don't feel cold in Shavasana, so if you wanted to put on an extra layer of clothes or a blanket or a little eye pillow just to go over your face, we do close the eyes here and we relax completely. Let everything go. You could imagine you're just floating in space, completely weightless. Relax the muscles in the legs, in the arms. Let go of the control of the breath. Body is capable of just breathing itself. And optionally, you could breathe in through the mouth as well as the nose. And you could explore that to see if you can create a nice spacious quality around the jaw and down the back of the throat. And with the eyes closed, the eyelids feel heavy. And just making the most of this time in this last posture, just to get the benefits of the practice you've just moved through. So let the body absorb all of that nice energy. And as we lie here in this last posture, try and just let your mind rest gently on the sensations throughout the body. Or that sensation of however you're breathing now. Just latch on and see if you can follow every inhalation you take and every exhalation. And remaining in Shavasana just for a few more moments. Slowly then coming out of Shavasana, you can move the fingers and the toes, a little bit of a wiggle. You can take the arms up and behind so you can stretch along the ground from the fingers to the toes. Just pause there for a moment. Drawing the knees into the chest, reaching round. You can start to move gently from side to side, backwards and forwards. And then we roll onto our right side. Just pause there for another moment. You can make a little pillow with your hands. Just pause and breathe. Stretching out your left leg on top, supporting, to coming up to sit. We're going to do the finishing chant either in lotus, half lotus or cross-legged. Make sure you feel comfortable here. Hands in prayer position, repeating after me. Om Swasti Prajabhiha Swasti Prajabhiha Paripaleyantam Paripaleyantam Nayena Margena Nayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmani Bhyaha Go Brahmani Bhyaha Shubhamastu Nityam Shubhamastu Nityam Lokaha Samastaha Lokaha Samastaha Sukhinu Bhuvantu Sukhinu Bhuvantu. And together, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And release the hands and gently bow the head down. Exhale, let go. So well done. That, if that was your first time, has given you an overview of the entire Ashtanga Yoga primary series. We talked about this before. There are further series, the second series, third series, fourth series. They get more challenging, the postures requiring a little bit more depth, flexibility and strength, but they come in the middle. What changes is the seated postures. So the beginning bit, sun salutations, standing postures, the end bit, finishing sequence, beginning with the back bend and then the inversions and then through to the end. That's always the same. It's like a sandwich and the middle bit can change. So on this website, if you are interested, there is the second series. You can see the whole of that second series in its entirety. And if you want to take the concept of this primary series a little bit further, then there's also a slightly more advanced version of this primary series with the postures taken through, again, a little bit further. But remembering, you don't necessarily have to do any of these postures, and as I'm demonstrating to you, it's all about this direction of movement, this breath, and time will unfold these postures, these physical postures, enabling you to go further, but whenever that feels appropriate to you. This system of yoga is designed to be practiced 5 times a week. I appreciate that's quite a commitment. That's at least 90 minutes. So I would just really encourage you to do what you can. There's a PDF for the entire primary series on this website. You can download that because over time, as this is a fixed traditional series of postures, you will be able to memorize it. And already I'm sure you could probably do the A and the B sun salutation and those first few standing postures even just from memory, and you will eventually learn the whole of the system. And I encourage you to try and remember the names of the postures. You've heard them all on this talk through of a modified primary series, and then I'm going to leave it up to you just to take this as far as feels appropriate. You could go to a class, there's more classes on the website, you could go to a class somewhere near where you live. If you've got any questions, comments about this series of yoga, please feel free to get in touch. And that pretty much is it. It's been great just talking you through this 13-week Ashtanga course. It's been pretty full on, lots of information for you to take in. So enjoy the rest of your day, have a nice chill out, and I'll see you next time on your yoga mat. Thank you and bye-bye.